Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Nat. Thank you all so much for joining me. Today I'm super excited to finally be trying out the Hung Vanngo line. But first, let me tell you what's on my face today. I recently picked up the new Makeup by Mario foundation, and mine is in the shade 8N. I think it's a pretty good shade match, and this is the first time I'm trying it out. And my first impression is that it has a pretty good medium but buildable coverage. It blended out super seamlessly. It feels comfortable on the skin, and I think it has a pretty nice natural finish. But we'll still have to see how this holds up during the day for me. Because if you guys didn't know, I'm on the oily side, and as we're approaching winter, I do get random dry patches, but it hasn't quite happened yet, so we're still on the oily side. Although I have to say, today here in Vancouver is our first kind of cold day. Like when I went to go warm up the Jeep this morning to take the kids to school, I think it was sitting at about 2 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but just for reference, 0 degrees Celsius is when water freezes. My eyebrows are done and my eyes are already prepped with MAC Paint Pot in soft ochre and then set with Makeup by Mario's loose setting powder in translucent. Alright, so let's start off with eyeshadow. This is the new neutral palette, and this is what it looks like. Let's get into some swatches. So there's no shade names, but on the back of this palette, the shades are numbered 1 through 8. Okay, so I just dipped into the shades, and I have to say that the eyeshadows felt way better than when I swatched them in store. Maybe because this is a brand new palette, maybe because the ones that are in store have been touched by everyone, sprayed with alcohol. But honestly, when I swatched it in store, I was a little bit underwhelmed and kind of like, oh no, do I really want to try this? But I'm so happy that I went with my gut and picked it up anyway, because this new palette that I have, it feels so much better. Okay, so let's go. This is number 1. Like the mattes are soft, silky, and buttery. Like, look at that. And yeah, like in store, and when I touched it, I was like, this is rough and scratchy. Here's number 2. A shimmer. Number 3. And 4. 5. 6. A nice transition shade. 7. And 8. Here are the shades of the new neutral palette by Hung Vanngo and different lighting. Alright, so let's start off with shade number 6. And I'm just going in with a Rephr 33. For those of you who don't know, Hung Vanngo is a celebrity makeup artist who came to Canada in 1988. I think he first went to Calgary, and then he moved to Toronto, and I think currently he's in New York. But I'm so excited for him to have his own line finally. Okay, so this shade is taking a bit for me to build it up, which has its pros and its cons. I think it's personal preference. And you know what? Actually, Hung Vanngo is coming to Canada this weekend, but he's not coming to Vancouver. I think it's like his going home tour. I'm born and raised in Vancouver, and I've never desired to live anywhere else in Canada, just because Vancouver is so beautiful in my opinion. But this is like the one time that I wish I did live in Calgary or Toronto, just so I could go meet him. I think he's going to Sephora. And I just love success stories from hardship, you know what I mean? Like I can't imagine what it would be like being a refugee or coming to a completely different country. I know it's weird. Like, I'm not in my native country. I've actually never even been to China. I've been to other parts of Asia, but not China itself. But like I said, I was born here, so I didn't have to make the journey here. I have my grandparents and my parents to thank for that. Okay, so next let's go in with shade number 1. And I'm just going in with a Rephr 01. There we go. This shade has some pigment payoff. So far, I think it's blending out nicely. I've been waiting to try out these Hung Vanngo products since it launched back in the beginning of September, or the second week of September. I love that he came out with a bunch of color options, all in kind of like a monochromatic palette. But when I went in store to swatch them and to see them with my own eyes, the colored ones seemed kind of just okay. Because again, I prefer indie brand eyeshadows. So that's why I just went with a neutral palette, because I still do love a good neutral palette. And I'm not knocking his colored eyeshadow palettes, because obviously I haven't tried it yet. I'm just explaining why I didn't choose to pick up a colored palette. More so because I felt like the shades weren't contrasty enough, or the deepest shades in the palettes of the colored ones didn't appear to have the kind of impact that I like in my eyeshadow looks. Alright, back to Rephr 33 with no added product, so we can soften out the edges. Okay, let's deepen things up with shade number 5. And I'm just going in with a Shoto 00. Have you guys tried Hung Vanngo's products? Are you thinking about trying his products? I think it's coming along nicely. What do you guys think? And now I've dipped back into shade number 1 with my Rephr 01, just to, I was gonna say just to fill in that empty space there, but it's almost like shade number 1 and shade number 5, the deepening up shade. It doesn't have they're quite similar in depth. Wait, let's see if I can spread some out over on this side, because this is kind of the effect that I was hoping for. Maybe I just dipped into way too much. Okay, I'm going to flip the brush over and just see if I can blend this out a bit. Switch to my Rephr 33. And now I've dipped into the first shade that I used. I think it was shade number 6, just to see if it will lighten at all. And now I'm trying shade number 3, which is the lightest shade in the palette, just to see if I can lighten this a tiny bit. No, they don't really match. Switch back to the Rephr 01. I think it's still salvageable once we put the shimmers on. but I do want them to match a tiny bit more, so I've taken the tiniest bit of the shade number 1. All right, let's add some shimmer and see what kind of adjustments we need to make. Let's start off with the shade number 8 and just my finger. And let's put that just off center. And then for inner third, let's do shade number 7. Oh, this one is way more impactful. I'm just adding a bit more of shade number 8 to kind of marry these two together. All right, same thing on this side. Inner third. Now I'm kind of curious actually to see what the other shimmers look like. It might make everything muddy, but why not? Let's try it out. This is shade number 2. I'm just putting it in the same spot. I think I might like this better. Can you guys see a difference? And let's repeat over here. I guess there's 2 shimmers that are more on the cool tone side, and then 2 shimmers that are on a little bit warmer. Okay, let's add number 4. I'm just taking a flat shader brush with shade number 3, the lightest matte shade in the palette, for a bit of an underbrow highlight. And the same shade on a rougher 21, just to see if we can brighten up the inner corner a bit. And shade number 5, the darkest, deepest matte, on a Eyeshadow 00, just to re-intensify the outer corner and blend in where the shimmer starts. Let's see, I think I want to take the tips of the Eyeshadow 00 and gently drag some depth across. Like that. I think that looks better. What do you guys think? And the same thing on this side. Now let's do concealer. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Concealer, and mine is in the shade 2N. And this one, I need to pay attention and form an opinion, because I promised my friend Christy that I would let her know today my thoughts on it. It's very creamy. I think that's a good shade. And I'm just blending it out with an FO2 from Singe Beauty. Oh, I still have Nikki's Volume 2 brushes to try out. This concealer is blending out very easily. That's pretty full coverage, eh? So now that I'm done with all of my cream and liquid products, everything else that I'm trying out today is in powder form. So let's start off with setting the under eyes. I have the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Under Eye Powder, and I chose the shade Translucent. I even picked up the official brush that goes with it. So let's pick some up. This is interesting. I usually set my under eyes, as you guys might know, with a triangle puff. You guys see the difference? This powder is so finely milled. That powder is like barely detectable, I feel like. Okay, so I just set the rest of my face with Makeup by Mario's loose setting powder in Translucent, and now we can finish up this eye look. I'm just going in with the shade number 5, the darkest matte shade. And what is this? The E25 from ColourPop. And now let's take shade number 6 and a Rephr 01. So let's blend out this bottom edge. I just realized today that my mind, like, you know, the processing that's happening in the back of your mind, my mind is on so many random little things. Like, I need to book an appointment because my son is turning 16 soon. And we're gonna go after school on his birthday, because his birthday's on a Monday, so that he can try and get his learner's license. Oh my god, I can't believe we're there already. And then I gotta start looking at booking hotels for our trip to Japan in March during spring break. Like, we have our plane tickets already, but we're gonna go to 3 cities. We're landing in Osaka, and then we're going to go to Kyoto for a couple days, and then to Tokyo, where I'm actually going to meet up with one of my high school best friends, and actually a client of mine from way back. He moved back to Japan, and I haven't seen him in 15 years or something like that. But anyway, we're hoping to meet up as well. And then we have to go from Tokyo back to Osaka to fly home. So yeah, I got to start booking our hotels and solidifying what dates we're going to be in each city. All right, it's eyeliner time. This is the Longwear eyeliner in Along the Lash Line, and it's black. It's a twist up, I think. Yeah, it's a twist up. So it must mean there is a sharpener on the end. I'm just going to tightline first. And from what I've heard, Hung Vanngo worked very hard to come up with what he thinks is the blackest black eyeliner. So let's see. This goes on very easily, like I'm using barely any pressure. Huh. This might be it. This might be the blackest eyeliner. Very easy to use. I heard it dries down very quickly, so let's take the E12 quickly. I'm so lazy. I don't know if I've ever used the sharpener on a retractable or twist up type eyeliner. Let's take the E12. I am going a little bit farther than usual with my eyeliner because I think I'm going to put on some half lashes. All right, moving on to lower lash line. Actually, why not? Let's do the waterline. Because that'll be the test, right? Let's blend that out quickly with Nikki's N12. Okay, so I decided to switch gears and put my lashes on first, just because that's usually how I do my makeup. I put my lashes on and then I finish up with the eyeliner after I've tight lined. So we're going to go ahead and put some eyeliner in the waterline of this eye. Let's quickly blend that out with Nikki's N12. Let's take some dim light with a Sephora Pro Crease number 19. Just to blend out all the edges. Now it's time for bronzer. I have mine in the shade Hardworking, and this is the soft blurring bronzer, and I'm just going to use a BK Beauty 104. Okay, so I've heard that this bronzer is super pigmented. So for my tiny forehead situation, let's go gentle. Okay, that's not so bad. But I also think it's this brush that is helping with diffusing it. Let's get it up into the hairline. I think that's a nice shade. It actually shows up way better on camera than in my mirror. That's cool. Oh, I love this. So again, same thing with this product. I keep hearing some people either like absolutely love it, or some people don't like it at all, or find it hard to work with or something like that. but I love it. What do you guys think? Yep, I'm a fan. I feel like powder bronzers is like how I am with scents or fragrances. I can't tell you differences or things that I notice. I just know if I like it on my face or not. Just with powders. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay. Okay. I'm absolutely a fan. I really, really like this, in case you didn't pick that up already. Okay, let's see how it is on the nose. I feel like it's a little intense for the nose, but I don't think it's a product issue. I might have just used too much on this side of the Patrick Ta nose contour brush. And now it's time for blush. I have the shade Born from Beauty, and I think it's like a peachy kind of color. You know what I realized? I didn't even swatch the bronzer just to see. So, oh, this is so velvety. Ooh, what an interesting shade. Okay, let's go in with the BK Beauty 112. Ooh, that's pretty. I also love his shade names. Like, they're all so personal to him. It shows his story. You know, Born from Beauty, that's him. And I think it has something to do with his mom too. Oh, that's pretty. Now I feel beautiful. Like, especially his shade names for his lipsticks. It's so cool. Like, he was at some concentration camp. I can't remember the name of it, but he named one of his lipsticks the name of that concentration camp. Or not refugee camp. Not concentrate. Are they different? I don't know. I don't even know what a concentration camp is. That just specific to not great times? Anyway, it's a refugee camp. Was it in Cambodia or something like that? Look at me here, spreading gossip. Something I think I kind of know, but don't know exactly. Oh boy. But yeah, like, I think some of the names are something in Vietnamese. Oh my gosh, I'm still going with this. I just think that's super cute and must have been so fun for him to come up with these shade names. Oh, and just the fact that he has such high regard and love for his mom. But one of the shade names for one of the products is called Single Mother, because he has so much respect for his mom because she was a single mother. Just so cute. Okay, but what do you guys think about this blush? I am super happy with it. Alright, time for lips. I have the Accentuating Longwear Lip Liner. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And this is the shade Follow the Natural Shape. Surprise, surprise. It's a nude. That goes on easy. It's creamy. Or like, it glides really well. But I don't know what that means for like longevity, but it says it's long wearing, so. And now the creamy matte lipstick. I have the shade 88. This is what it looks like. Oh. So yeah, 88 was the year that he came to Canada, Calgary specifically. This is a creamy matte. Oh, I'm into this. What do you guys think? Alright, so the last thing we have to try out today is the One Size Boucle Silk Cellulose Airbrush Powder, and this is a shade Light. I'm just going to go in with a Rephr 05. What do you guys think? Did it actually give me an airbrushed look? I feel like it did. What do you guys think? I think so, yeah. Like, I feel like there's like a soft veil of almost like radiance, but not in the greasy form, you know what I mean? I think I do like this one. But of course, I'll have to try it out a few more times before I have final thoughts on it. Wait, did I even show you guys a close-up of the eye look? Sorry. Here it is. In different lighting. Okay, so my final thoughts on the eyeshadow palette is that it's decent. I do like it. It's actually better than I thought it was going to be. And I do love a good neutral palette, but it's just a preference thing. So for my taste, I do prefer indie brand formulas. I think what I love the most from the brand is the bronzer and the blush. The eyeliner too. Actually, I'm pretty happy with this lip combo as well. But what are your thoughts? Have any of you tried Hung Vanngo's line? Or any products from the line? I'd love to hear your feedback. But overall, I am very happy. Like, this look, I feel pretty. Okay, and that wraps up this video. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I appreciate you all so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time.
Oh, ha, ha.